For many years now, I've been talking about the need for you to pressure-proof your creative brain if you want to optimize your performance without sacrificing your sanity. And one of the ways to pressure-proof your brain is to become incredibly mindful of the stuff that you feed your brain. Essentially, what data is inputted into your brain on a daily basis. The reason we need to become mindful of this is that fear and flow can't exist in the same brain at the same time. You can't have a positive charge and a negative charge in the brain and in the wider nervous system at the same time. It just does not work. So if you want more flow in your life, you need to have less fear in your life. So I want to talk about a thing called vicarious trauma. And what this means essentially is that you don't have to be in a traumatic event in order to be traumatized by the event. Back in 2013, there was a thing called the Boston Marathon bombings, and a lot of people lost their lives and a lot of people got injured. But the people who were most traumatized by that event were not the people who were at the event. The people who got most traumatized by that event, the vast majority of people, were the people who witnessed that event on a constant basis through the media channels, through TV, through radio, through the newspapers. And what the researchers found was that because of vicarious trauma, those people who were consuming information, imagery and words and sounds about that awful event were the ones who were most heavily stressed out and traumatized by it for the long term. Now, I know that you weren't at the Boston Marathon. I hope you weren't at the Boston Marathon, and you probably weren't one of those people who were consuming that news at that time. But you are consuming news today. Today, the world is full of negative news. And as you're doom scrolling through the news, or as you're swiping left and right through the news, or as you're goggleboxing the news through your TV sets and your laptops and your iPads, you're in a very, very, very highly programmable state. You're in hypnosis. Advertisers know this, yeah? That's why jingles in the olden days used to get stuck inside our brain, because we were in hypnosis when we were zonked out in front of the TV watching this stuff. So you need to be really careful of what you are watching on a constant, consistent basis. If you're constantly consuming negative stories, negative headlines, negative imagery, you can be traumatized by it. You do not have to be in those locations to be traumatized. You do not want any more stress in your life. So there you go, take it or leave it. But what I would say that is, if you want to have a pressure-proof brain, I'll say it again, be really careful of what you're feeding the brain. You can be very deeply impacted in a negative way from negative stuff that is bombarding you through the doom scroll, the goggleboxing and the swiping. Be careful of that and have a good day.